At Twickenham, he was one of Australia's outstanding players, and for Nathan Sharpe, winning his 114th cap on his farewell tour, it was a fitting reward for 16 years of distinguished international service.
You never get bored of representing your country, that's for sure. But I think there's other things out there in the world that inspire me, that I want to be challenged by. So this year was always going to be my last. It was just the timing of it, I suppose. I don't think I could go through another pre-season and all the rigmarole. So, you know, I know a lot of guys that have played and they've had to retire for a number of reasons, whether they get the tap on the shoulder or injury. And I always wanted to retire on my own terms, and I think that you know, I've been able to do that this year. So it's one of those things. A lot of people always say, "Don't retire," but within myself, I know that I've probably gone past that mark, and if I continue to play, I'd be doing myself and my teammates a disservice as well.
Sharpe's first sporting love as a youngster was Australian rules football. He only discovered rugby when his family moved to Queensland.
I was pretty lucky. I grew up on a farm until I was 12 in Wagga Wagga, and then we moved to the Gold Coast for Dad's work. So I sort of grew up in the country and then grew up on the beach. So I got the best of both worlds, really. So thanks, Mum and Dad, that was good. I was always a bit bigger than most kids, but I was probably carrying a few kilos extra when I was about 14, and you know, Mum and Dad couldn't really work it out. In the space of a year, I grew an immense amount, and I got to this height when I was 15. So obviously, you know, I was probably 80 kilos wringing wet and this height, so it was a bit awkward for a while there.
After making his Test debut in 2002, he rapidly established himself as a linchpin of the Wallaby pack. A year later, he was on the biggest stage of all, when Australia played England in the World Cup final.
I think in hindsight, when you look at those memories, you sort of, when you're younger, you think, oh, well, you know, we'll get another shot at that, but, you know, it doesn't always happen like that.
His longevity will be hard to match. At 34 years of age, he holds the all-time record for Super Rugby appearances during his time with the Reds and Western Force, but has so far resisted the lure of big money offers from abroad.
I've spoken to a lot of clubs, and, you know, I'm still speaking to them now because, you know, I've learnt one thing this year: you never say never. But it's something that's been very tempting, and I think had things been different for me in my business life in Australia, in my personal life, you know, I would have definitely liked to come up here for a year or two and experience some different rugby culture, because all I know is the Australian rugby culture, so I haven't had that experience that a lot of guys get from being all around the world, playing in different teams, different environments. You know, going to Italy, south of France would be great, but you know, at this stage that won't be happening.
The Australian scrummaging has had its ups and downs over the years, so having his expertise to call upon in the line-outs has been critical.
Sometimes, you know, over the length of my career, you know, we've had a few good nights at the office because picked up a call within the game, but it's not something we focus on too much. We probably look at more patterns of where teams go, their line-out setups and formations, and then we try and react to those accordingly. But it's very frustrating because whenever we come to the line-out though for Australia, the cameras go straight on my face. So every team around the world gets our calls, which doesn't seem to happen for the other teams, which is a bit frustrating.
Fairy tale endings seldom happen in sport, but the big man from Wagga Wagga certainly deserves all the accolades coming his way.
Rugby's been amazing to me, and that's why, you know, if it stopped tomorrow, I could have nothing to complain about. It's been fantastic. I've been very lucky. But I think the thing for me that I take out of rugby the most is the people in it, the people that I've played with, the people that I've met around the edges, all just great people. And a lot of people talk about rugby greats. You talk of guys like Stephen Larkham. You know, I'm just talking in Australia here. Guys like Stephen Larkham, you know, George Smith, Matt Giddos. They're great players, but they're even better blokes. And that's the beauty of it, because you get these guys that have got fantastic skill and talent, but the reason that I enjoy it is because of who they are and what they bring to the table and to the team, and that's the thing I'm going to miss the most, I think, being involved in that circle of just, you know, terrific people.